Hey there folks, there's 20 here, bringing you my very first ever World of Warships replay that I have called Scharnhorst's Fury, which is an incredibly tough name for what was essentially an extraordinary stroke of luck during one of my recent matches. In fact, the only reason this is being posted here is because it's been requested by a couple of members from various Facebook World of Warship pages. And as you can see, luck does prevail. I've been up-tiered in my Scharnhorst, with my primary opponent being the Nagato. Ironically enough, you'll see that much later. And the map today is Trident. Now the first 7 minutes of the battle, it's fairly unremarkable. However, I've included the footage here so you can see how events led up to things that occur later on in the battle. Now, we're all pushing the C cap right now. 6 ships total, including 2 battleships. And ironically enough, C-Cap did not need that much support. Of course, hindsight's 2020, but what I didn't notice is that it was only 2 ships pushing C. This Fuso and another cruiser that was sunk earlier on. Nonetheless, we figured it out. Towards about this point, I looked over to my right, and I noticed that, well, everybody else is over there. Total of 10 ships, so the idea was push through this Fuso as quickly as possible. I felt really bad for this Fuso. He's just backing away from a warspite and another cruiser, leaving his broadside open, and Scharnhorst, her guns, if you give her a broadside, she will sting you. 7,000 points there, another 35 on the way. So now he's wised up, and now the eastern group is pushing towards the west. And as you can see, the enemy is pretty much in firm control of C. In the meantime, our group, we're pretty well scattered, and one of the western group's battleships has managed to pull back and is regrouped with us. One of our destroyers, unfortunately, has pushed a little too deep, and unfortunately, he is not going to last very long. However, it was around this time that you could see right there, well, could see, there's a Koenig. And while that Nagato is rushing past him, I notice he's backing up. And it pretty much became pretty apparent he's going to be isolated from his buddies pretty quickly, so he became the center of my attention. However, I don't want to make that dash straight across to him and be exposed to unnecessary fire from those cruisers to the north, so I'm going to pass south of this island south of the B cap. I'm already taking a few hits here and there from enemy Indy. The way that I see it, yes, it's good to brawl, but put the odds in your favor. And the more you can keep yourself from being exposed to enemy fire, the better. So here I am, I'm beginning to push around this island, and now I'm shielded from those cruisers. And my fellow battleship and cruiser to the south of me, they've joined in to attacking this Koenig. We didn't coordinate it, but it just happened to work out that way. And now I'm joining the fray. He's got 2 battleships and a cruiser lighting him up, and he's got a happy camper. Now, since he's so distracted, as I close the gap on him, I'm going to be exposed to some fire from the cruisers to my north. So I figure, okay, I don't like that Duca over there. Let's train my guns on him, get a shot off. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky, right? Well, guess what? Luck it is. Devastating strike with 2 citadels, resulting in the first kill of the day. Now to the Koenig, and this is what I love about the Scharnhorst. She is such a close-in brawler. You take that armor that she has, typical German armor, great secondaries, add in torpedoes. Let's just face it, if you get a Scharnhorst within 6 kilometers of you and you're unsupported, you may as well grab your swimming trunks, because she is going to take you out. Close the gap. And again, I cannot overstate how amazing this German armor is. I mean, my understanding is that it gets more effective the closer in you get. And here I am, I'm taking hits. I mean, right now his secondaries are lighting me up. But if you watch really closely, I'm waiting for it. There it is. There's a main battery hit, and it just it seems to barely scratch the surface. I mean, honestly, it's been a while before I jumped into the German line. I can understand why there's so much love for it. Anyway, closing in, I like to get my torps in where there's no reaction time. 1 kilometer will do. There they go. He takes 2, and thank you, fisherman. There is the second kill of the day. So, now that that's done, my momentum's already carrying me. I'm already doing, 15, 16 knots. And I can look to the south, and I can see that the survivors, well, most of the survivors, I have 1 Fiji over by B cap, but the survivors are beginning to swing towards B. And they're doing it for the south, so I figure, okay, I'm going to swing for the north, maybe catch them in a pincher. And that New York, if I can distract him from attacking the group to the south or the Fiji, so much the better. And as I found out here, he is engaging our Fiji. Not really fair, so let's start trying to draw his fire. Here's another example of the amazing capabilities of the Scharnhorst. Again, only 11 inches, and yet they take such chunks off battleships if you aim true. I mean, I have yet to get a Citadel on a battleship, but still, 7,000, 8,000 points per pop. It is amazing. So the Fiji's trying to defend himself, and unfortunately it failed. So now, that New York, he's probably, I'm figuring, going to try to focus his attention on the push to the south, so keep trying to draw his fire. And those torpedoes, I was really hoping they'd hit him. Anyhow, in focusing on the New York, I forgot that there was a cruiser out there. We got a French cruiser coming in from the north. And call me silly, but between a New York or a French cruiser, I'm going to fear the cruiser more, and there's pretty much 3 reasons. Number 1, he's fast. He's just as fast, if not faster than me. Number 2, those guns, even though they are only, I believe 155 millimeter, they're still firing a lot faster than I am, and me being the Scharnhorst, it's going to hurt. Last but not least, he has torpedoes, just like I do. And while I don't mind giving out torpedoes, I really hate taking torpedoes in return. So, well, I told you guys earlier I'm a mediocre player, and a disclaimer, well, there you go. What was that, maybe 1,100 points? Really, I need to work on my aim better. I mean, yes, I could blame the RNG gods, but let's face it, a lot of it has to do with aim. He's not that far away. I should be doing a lot better. I mean, it was the same thing with this Savo. 3,000, well, I got Confederate out of it, so there's something there. But, you know, it's like, okay, I've had 2 shots. I've definitely had enough time to range on him. 3rd time has better be a charm. So, get my aim on, launch him off, 6 away, and voila. Citadel, there's the 3rd kill of the day. Now, with that victory out of the way, came a really sickening realization. In that battle, in that time that I was taking out the French cruiser, I realized we had lost our warspite and his supporting cruiser, and now it's just Congo, me versus 3 battleships. A fairly good, healthy New York, a kind of lowish Bayern, and a Nagata that's almost full health. Now, the Congo, he's not too badly off. I don't know if you saw, but he's roughly 50%, whereas the Bayern is a quarter. Unfortunately, now the New York has shifted attention to him. So, it's time to redouble my efforts, try to get the New York's attention. He's trying to use cover, which is really smart. He's trying to block himself, I think, from my line of fire. But my shells, the arc is still good enough to clear that terrain. Even so, he's really locked on to the Congo. Now again, the Congo is doing really well. You see half health, and the Bayern is now getting below a quarter health. There's the Nagato. However, somehow the Bayern struck him hard. I don't know if it was a detonation, but there goes my support, and now it is a 1-on-3. A low health Bayern, a relatively healthy New York, and a really healthy Nagato. So, I got 3 battleships against me. They're more or less off my nose. It's time to go typical battleship, nose on them, try to keep angled, Bayern's going to be my priority. He's the lowest health of the three. 6 away, and I was nice luck on that one. High caliber, 4th kill of the day. So now we're coming down to New York. Now, if you look at the points, we're about 200 ahead. And one could argue that maybe I should have halted in my tracks and just tried to hold them off. Somehow, though, that just didn't work for me. I mean, I thought about it, but the way that I look at it, the Scharnhorst, with her fast-firing guns, her really good agility, and those torpedoes, it just felt right to stay mobile. So I'm going to close the distance. The important thing to me was staying on the offensive. I want to keep them off guard. And the New York, he was wise. He figured out the moment I started turning to my left, he probably figured out, okay, he's probably putting torpedoes in the water. The thing is, with him, turned away from me, he can only get his rear turns on me. So it minimizes the incoming fire. And as long as those torpedoes are running, he's going to keep running away from them. Now, they've pretty much run their course. He's figuring it out. He probably sees right about here that those torpedoes have hit the end of their run. He's going to turn around and try to go broadside to me. He wants to get his guns up. I'm happy to oblige that, though. It's like, okay, thank you for the broadside. And 6 away. Really nice hit there, 35, I believe. And once with that done, now it's Nagato. I even have a teammate saying save torpedoes for Nagato. I totally agree. Gonna bring it down my left side. Those torpedo tubes are ready. Again, try to get as close as possible. Give him a nice nose shot. I wanted to try to hit him with all 3. There goes the torpedoes. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. Not even close enough to kill him, but definitely takes him down a notch. He's now below 50% health. In the meantime, the New York, he swung out. I figured my right side torpedoes are ready. Torpedoes away, and it's a New York. What can I say about his maneuverability other than it's a New York? He's not getting out of the way of this one. 3 torpedoes into him, and Kraken, 5th kill. Now at this point, now in hindsight, it would have been a great time to run. As you can see, I have a health advantage, and if I keep my tail to him, I'm relatively safe. I use that term very loosely, though, because these are 16-inch guns. He can overpen me. But if we're going to be honest with each other, I got greedy. I wanted the 6th kill. I figured, okay, he's lower than me. I can take him out. As you can see, I can start swinging to the left to unmask my torpedo tubes, which were destroyed. There was my error. Because in doing so and not getting any torpedoes off, well, I just gave a good chunk of health for nothing. Again, I figured it out. Okay, start swinging right. Maybe I should have just swung and straightened out and kept running. The time were only a minute odd left, but nope. Again, I wanted to kill. Swing right, torpedoes away, and here is the heartbreaker. Right at that moment, he sinks 16-inch salvo into me, beating me within an inch of my life. I try to return the favor best as possible. This is the best salvo I've had from a Scharnhorst on a battleship, 12,500 points. He's now within an inch of his life, but it's Nagato. We all know about Nagato's secondaries. They are brutal. Let's just face it, folks, this was going only one way. Disappointing. Such a heartbreaker. But consolation prize, my best score to date, 242,705 with Kraken, Confederate, have a devastating strike and high caliber. I mean, look at that. 115 main battery hits, 8 torpedoes, 3 battleships and 2 cruisers sunk. And check this out. My score, top losing score, is almost 100 points within the top score of the top winner of the other team. That is hilarious. Well, at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this replay. This is Series 20. Cheers all.